Hello, good morning. My name is Anahi Ramirez Ortiz, and I want to show you a project that I worked for 2 years, like 4 years ago, for the German Corporation for Sustainable Development. And it's very important and very interesting, well, for me at least, because it shows how we can promote gender equality with social housing, sustainable social housing. So this is Mrs. Adi, Mr. Rafa, and their grandchild. They are some of a beneficiary family that we work with in Mérida, Yucatan, in the south of Mexico. But first, to put you in context, I want to tell you something about the situation in Mexico. According to the Coneval, to the National Council for the Evaluation of Social Development Policy, in 2014, 35 out of 100 households were headed by women. This is very important because it's showing us how the stereotypes are changing nowadays. And even though more women are heads of houses, they have a lot of problems regarding this position. They receive at least 30% less salary than a man for the same activity. Only 25% of women have a official work with a salary. This means that they receive, they have social security, they have official income, they have access to loans or to buy a house or to rebuild it or to make maintenance their houses. And the conditions of the houses headed by women are different than men. Usually they have more people inside their houses, and they have to take care of a lot of people, like grandchildren, people with disabilities, elder people. So the situation gets like worse and worse and worse, and it's more complicated. And we need to assure that, or we need to see that, because this is how we can see how the participation of the women in the social market implies and how they impacts in their lives. Important issue that we have to see and to realize how we can reduce the inequality between men and women in this country. And also, well, they have primary needs like for energy efficiency or water and health problems because of the quality of their houses. Also, the law of housing, the Ley de Vivienda, says that we all Mexicans, no matter our gender, no matter our condition, our age, we have the right to have a dignified home. We have the right to have access to a house. So according to the law, all Mexicans should have a nice place where we can have all our activities. And also, the previous administration in their National Development Plan, they considered the gender's perspective as a transversal axis. So that meant that all activities, all the institutions, and all the programs should consider gender's perspective. So they could reduce the inequalities between men and women, okay? So this is another family. This is Edna and their children. There are another beneficiary families where we work with in Mérida. And also, I have to explain that Mexico is committed to different sustainable, the different agendas, like the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, the Agenda 2030, and the NDC, the National Contribution Commitments. So this means that we are complied to decrease the temperature of the country, and to decrease the greenhouse gas emissions that we make, and we need to comply with the Paris Agreement. And the SDG are really important because it's supposed that all the actions of the countries that sign this paper are to reduce poverty, not to leave anyone behind, and there are specific goals regarding gender equality, and sustainable cities and energy efficiency. Turn off your lights, you need to put insulation in your house, you need to close the faucets, you need to separate your waste. It's really complicated to work with families and to tell them that it is better for them to invest in an insulation or a LED lighting instead of buying a television or an expensive cellular phone. So it's really complicated. Started the process to communicate with the people, to looking for the leaders of their neighborhood to tell them about our pilot project and to invite them to work with us. And here we realized that the leaders of this neighborhood were women. So they help us to talk with the other inhabitants, to work with the community. It was really complicated. I was there like for 2 years, and the first time we went there, like all the neighbors went outside of their houses and follow us, like they wanted to know what happened, and they thought we were going to do something bad, you know, like to rob someone or to kidnap a child. It was really hard, so we had to show our credentials and to tell them what we were planning. So, and once the leaders help us and introduce us to the community, everything changed. So it was the first thing that we knew it was important to talk with the leaders of the community. Also, with this pilot project, we could see that with affirmative actions, you could reduce the inequality between men and women. And for that, we decided to talk with women specifically because they were the ones that knew what happened in their houses. They knew how much energy they spent. They knew if they were hot or if they were cold. They are in charge of the education of their houses. They taught the children how to leave their houses. And so we had to change our strategy. We planned 2 workshops, and we had to see that we needed to give specific information for them, for the social and cultural status, and according to the schedules of the women, because if we wanted them to participate, we needed to do when the sun was gone, when it was not so hot, when women finish all their activities, and that changed our perspective about the importance of gender situation in this project, for this project. This is Doña More. She's the leader of the community, and she helped us a lot to talk to the other people and to talk about the project. This is a poster that we designed so people could know that we were changing their houses. And these 2 workshops first were to give them information about climate change, about their effects, about how vulnerable we are. And we also taught them to make a basic evaluation of their consumption of energy. We designed these games so they could see how much an iron, the lights, or the TV, or the cells, or the oven's use of energy, and we taught them how, playing, how they could reduce the amount of electricity they could spend, or gas for cooking, or the water for the washing machine, or washing their clothes, or to take a shower. But it was really interesting because when we came back to Merida, we asked what happened, if they used the information that we gave them, if they changed their habits, and they said yes. They say that by doing the things that we taught them, they could reduce almost 50% of the electricity bill. And it was really important for us because in that moment we didn't change the house, we changed their minds. We taught them how to live in a different way. And it was really important for us to understand and to see that. We chose 9 houses to be remodeled. We made 6 packages, different packages, including the change of the windows to use the insulation for the roofs and for the walls. We use reflective paint, we use the shadings, and also we put a shade system so it will decrease the the temperature on the roof of the house. During this retrofit process that it lasts over 6 months, it was really important that we as the GIZ team will go there and talk to the families and talk to the workers like almost every week. It was a really complex project. We needed like a really punctual accompaniment with to the community. Otherwise, the project was not going to happen, you know. And it was also the social problems were like the most important and strongest issues. One day the family said, no, I don't want you to change my house, or they will fight with the workers, or they will fight between them, and we had to work and to negotiate and to convince them that it was a good action and that their lives was going to be improved. So it was really, really complex because we needed to give them confidence that this was the best choice that they had. This is one of their houses. It's finished. You can see the shading system and the painting and the insulation and the different type of windows that we use. And although we couldn't have a monitoring system, we asked them to save their electricity bills and all the information, so we can have a specific information of how much electricity they saved, how much water they saved, and they also measured the temperature inside their houses. It was interesting because during the summer they could see a difference between 8 and 12 degrees Celsius between the outside and the inside of the house, and in Mérida that's a lot, you know. Instead of being 40 degrees, they were 28, so they were even cold. Also, we gave information of how they had to maintain their houses, because that's another fact that it's important fact that we have to do. And we found out that women changed the way they behave inside their houses. They communicated with their husbands. They started to make decisions about their houses. In the beginning, they even told us that they had to ask permission to their husbands to participate in the workshops. But during the process, they started to be more confident and independent. And a lot of the houses were headed by women also. And so they started to save money. They started to see that it was, if they change their habits, they will increase the quality of their lives. Also, it was very important that they did not increase the amount of work that they had to do, because then it's not equality of gender. So it was really important, and they also talked to the people around the community and with their relatives in other areas of Yucatan, of the state and of the region, and they showed them how they lived, how they changed their houses, and it was really important for us. Some of them, after we finished the project, they earned the money, they saved the money that they didn't spend in electricity, and they even enlarged their houses, so it was really nice, because instead of having 2 rooms, they had 3, and it was interesting. And we use all this process to make awareness material for the government and for the general population. You can see them in this webpage, micasaesmimundo.com, where you can see very basic information of how you can improve your habits, how you can improve your house, and where you can get information about the programs from the government to improve your house, to buy your house, to build your house. And because of this project now, GIZ is going to start a new project specifically for existing housing in this year, in 2019. These are some of the materials that we developed. We made a calendar we made a fan, we made different materials that could be used according to the region, according to the climate, that, and what the measures they could do inside their houses. With this exercise, we could see that you can have a social transformation if you give the population information, and if you help them so they can take their own decisions. So it was really important for us, and it was really important to see how with these affirmative actions you can help women specifically to become like leaders, like real leaders inside their house, and how it was really nice to see how children said, "Oh, don't throw your bottle in this trash can. Reuse it," or say no to a garbage bag. Do not treat without respect your animals. Turn off the lights. When you see people like that doing those things, then you realize that you changed something, and it was really, really important. And if you can transform a region, you can help with the urban problems if you help people to understand that their participation is crucial, so we can transform our society. We made a proposal for a retrofit program using a saving system. I proposed it was called Mi Tandita Verde, like, you know, the Tanda, the social group crowdfunding. Yeah, you can see that here, the video. I will not show it because of the time, but the idea was to reunite women and to explain them how they can improve their houses, and with this Tanda system they could earn money and use it for retrofit measurements. We also made an online course. You can use it. It's free for the public. It's about women and energy. It talks about different projects of GIZ that help and promote gender equality, but specifically for women. And it's online, and it's really interesting. And this is the team that started this project, and it was a really nice experience, and hopefully will continue in 2009. And thank you. If you have any comments or questions.